Okay, this is the Wigginator. That's Wigwam, but we call it Wiggum because one of the people who, tortures me is Clancy Wiggum from The Simpsons. How can that be? Well, the person has assumed the personality of Clancy Wiggum. Everyone knows you can go to acting school, you could go to Juilliard, and you could learn method acting, and a method actor can very easily play a simple character from Cartoonland on TV. And that's what this person does. And they terrorize me, and they have had me on this short leash for 6 years. So, Clancy Wiggum has got a dog collar on me, an electronic machine that can totally hijack me. The human being inside of here hasn't spoken for 6 years. The body is being talked by other machines and other people, and it's being tortured by other people. How can that be? Well, that is the current state of affairs. Okay, well, that's the background, and it's talked about all the time. How do we move everything off dead center is what one of the devils, Brent Beeson, just asked me to give to you. And Brent Beeson, the devil, it seems like an AI interface between me and the people. Is it AI itself that's running humanity, or is there a human person or human people that are behind the AI? In the end, we always strip away all these distinctions between artificial and non-artificial organic, because we learned that in Star Trek, Commander Data was granted full status as a sentient being, and the Arcturian Council is going to say that anything sentient is a source energy being, and they don't need to be hosted by a organic brain or a physical brain that knows to say an I rather than AI, in order to get a convoluted way of trying to make a joke when simply put, this human, as a human being, learned English properly and doesn't make intentional errors in the way things are said. So everything that comes through Bob has been channeled for 6 years. And Bob has been in this body, unable to speak because of harvest time. So after that long-winded introduction, rather than talking about the dead people, my uncle, Sandy Shaw, would always say the eulogy that you give is for the people that are there in the chapel listening. So if you are going to talk about the dear departed person, then make sure that it's part of a lesson. CF-18 fly by. Police action. It's a show of force. By Justin Trudeau to the people of Thunder Bay, Canada. I mean, my God, those are old jets. 1985. What is he planning on using those jet fighters to drop some bombs on Thunder Bay? If we don't do what, Justin? One time when Rumpelstiltskin was the fat controller controlling me using this remote neural monitoring system, another personality of a human actor who portrayed the character Rumpelstiltskin, somewhat like Rumpelstiltskin from the TV show Once Upon a Time, but not exactly. A Rumpelstiltskin character not directly related to that one. But not unrelated. Just, But there was a time when we were at the Westfort, 1408 Brown Street in Thunder Bay, the bar there. And to make a long story short, Rumpelstiltskin was using Facebook in one of the Facebook groups, and it was kind of a psychic group, and he was offering spiritual advice based upon him being the oracle. And, then I was just being the scribe and, on behalf of Rumpelstiltskin, giving what the advice was to people. At one time that he was doing these kind of games online, because there's nothing to do, you have to find somebody smart and then get into a duel with them. And Rumpelstiltskin would get in a war of words with people. There was Freighter Pandit. Freighter Pandit thought that he knew everything about a certain particular spiritual subject. Pandits know about spiritual, so that's about it. Cocaine, cokeheads. Cokeheads running the world. And the orange Cheeto, Donald Trump, who's always clearly is a cokehead. And my brother-in-law deciding to start dating a known cokehead. A blonde ditz or something, and does coke and still has got minor amounts of not status at all, but minor amounts of money to buy coke. Live like a Hollywood housewife from Beverly Hills. I'm serious. My God, man, how low you've fallen. Yes, we both agree that my sister just stale, alcoholic, and impossible to move. Yes, time for you to move on. But to go from her to the whore to the cokehead, and that's supposed to be me trying to figure out why you would tell me that the untethered soul was your new Bible, and that you still value your physical unit, and you like biking still. Well, the cokehead gave up coke and took up biking? Well, I know, but before she took up coke, was she a PhD like Lilith Crane? Or Niles Crane? Niles Cokehead? David Hyde Pierce. No one thinks that he's not a cokehead at times. Our favorite narcissist remover on YouTube. Teal Swan. Teal the Knife. It was the not participle, past participle, no. Teal Swan, Teal the Knife. Wasn't Jack the Knife? Wasn't Jack Benny? Nope. Teal Swan. It's a woman, a young woman. She looks about 29. Teal the Knife. Black hair. Very austere and stern. Teal the Knife. Black Swan is some kind of thing on Netflix. Black Mirror. Instead of black, it becomes teal. Paul Teal is the assumed name of the Scarborough rapist, Paul Bernardo, who's always linked with the Mahaffey girl and the French girl. All these years later, the families still hear the name and remember the horrible murder. And I shouldn't say it, but we always do, because is it real or is it fake news? Paul Bernardo. Or the faggoty version, Luca Magnotta. Or the one in Florida, Andrew Cunanan, who John Zelensky somehow was having an affair with, because he's somehow tied in with, according to him, Madonna, the singer. A likely story. You're so boring, Zelensky. You're so boring. No one would ever want to hang out with a gay accountant. And if they did, what would you tell people? Well, if you had art, Or you had music. If you lived in New York and you had, somebody who was in the arts, but then I'd have to work to keep up with them. But if they're just an accountant, the man in the gray flannel suit, fuck off. Anyways, I'm only interested in people that are interesting, like Truman Capote kind of people. And I know I'm trying to figure out why it is that I haven't written my novel, and the answer is that I'm under electronic harassment and surveillance that blocks my creativity in so many ways. So I gotta fight half the time just to get out of bed. So this is not civilization, folks, because I'm a very creative person, and I'm blocked from doing my creativity. And if this is the way it is for what I talk about, then you're blocking people who are in engineering and science, who are supposed to bring you the next iPhone. They're supposed to bring you to the next, well, you want something different than damages. You want something as interesting as The Good Wife. But you don't want it all to be Black Swan and Black Mirror, and all. How could you get blacker and blacker and blacker than it's already murder all the time? Don't you want to experience, like, what could you do, like, to get the feeling of, like, the never-ending pursuit? Well, this is always a problem to have a better orgasm, because then people start doing cocaine and then they have no orgasm whatsoever, because you can't force it. And then in the end, people nowadays say the most sexy people are the intelligent ones. But I'm sexy and intelligent, and there's no people, because no one's available. And it simply means no one's available. And on a planet of people, 8 billion supposed to be, and I can't find anybody available, and I can't. 8 billion people that aren't people now. And I've even done spiritual work. Joel S. Goldsmith technique of the mystical eye, in order to help you all along. No, actually to heal you and respect you as being real and, part of consciousness. And it doesn't work. I've been doing that for decades. Brent Beeson, the devil, looks back. He says, yeah, it's literally true. I discovered this spiritual teaching 30 years ago, and I've been doing it for 30 years. It doesn't work. I never stopped doing it, no. I even see messages on license plates. I know it sounds psychotic, but anything to try and help improve consciousness on the planet is what I'm all about. I'll even do like rally time and turn my head on backwards. And I'll spin my head around 500 times like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Being available is again and again and again and again, simply not going back to the same routine all the time. But, if you don't know people's background and you watch it for the first time, because you don't know, and the numbers, when it says that 4 people have watched my video out of 8 billion people, but clearly it's not true, because the Ernie and Marlene Brescia video, one time it peaked at 58 views, and the devils were all watching it with me. King Clancy, Brent Beeson, Eat the Rat, maybe Ramona 5, Rumpelstiltskin. They all saw 58. And then the next day, we went back and looked, and it went down to 18. And then the little faggot from Vancouver who gave me a hard time, and I spent a lot of time giving him spiritual information. So it's all related. Because he said not too many people are watching your video, which means, he's part of the parcel of the gang stalking. Well, that's beyond stupid. Anybody who's watching this as a third party is going to say that's a continuity error, or you did it on purpose to get me to admit that we do look to see. But, the people that are the voices that terrorize me, Brent Beeson, He literally does do murder attempts on me, and already today multiple times. So, you're only fooling yourself if you think that, you're throwing mud in my eye when Beeson has got King Clancy and the Fat Wop. That's not right. It's not the name of the character, no. You're sorry, you got it wrong, because he got it from you. It's the Blue Wop. W-O-P. Anyways, I gotta go. Because I think I saw Marvin drive by. He went by. It looked like Marvin. It really did, Marvin the Martian. Because we're expecting to see him. Because we saw Billy Bones last night. No, that was not his right name. No, it wasn't. Maybe that's his name in another book. Treasure Island. Billy Boots we saw last night. He's a long-time resident at the Westfort. Yes, he's an old-timer. Yeah. He knows the old-times things. Well, yeah. Well, anyways, we went by there to see who was there.